Stop everything. What I am about to show you happened less than 48 hours ago, and it has just shattered the most important military alliance in history. A recording surfaced from a Fox News interview where Trump made a statement so devastating that a Polish general who fought in Afghanistan just called it crossing a red line. I have seen the documents. I have spoken to sources inside NATO headquarters. This is not about diplomatic disagreements. This is about whether the alliance that has kept the peace for 75 years survives the next 75 days. Hit subscribe right now because when this breaks wide open, you will see it here first. Roman Polko, retired Polish general, former Special Forces commander who served in both Afghanistan and Iraq, just said something that no NATO officer has ever said about an American president in public. Quote, "We paid with blood for this alliance. We truly sacrificed our own lives." End quote. He is demanding a personal apology from Trump, and he is not alone. European leaders are erupting. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer just called Trump's comments insulting and frankly appalling. Veterans across NATO countries are calling this a massive insult. Combat soldiers who bled alongside American troops are demanding answers. This is happening right now. Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz released a statement within hours. Quote, "Polish soldiers had paid the ultimate price for international security. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten and cannot be diminished." End quote. A NATO ally just accused the American president of diminishing their war dead. Let that sink in. Subscribe right now because what comes next will determine whether NATO survives or whether Trump just destroyed the foundation of Western security. The next 72 hours will show us if America still has allies or if we are about to stand completely alone. Turn on notifications because this story is breaking by the hour, and when the next shoe drops, you need to see it immediately. What I am about to show you in the rest of this video will change how you understand everything about American foreign policy, everything. Let me explain something that Trump apparently does not understand. NATO's Article 5 Mutual Defense Clause has been triggered exactly once in the alliance's 75-year history, September 11, 2001. When America was attacked, every NATO ally answered the call. Not some of them, all of them. They did not hesitate. They did not debate. They sent their sons and daughters to die in Afghanistan because America asked them to. Poland sent more than 33,000 soldiers and defense ministry personnel to Afghanistan over nearly 2 decades. They fought shoulder to shoulder with American troops. 43 Polish soldiers died. 1 civilian paramedic died serving alongside our forces. These are not numbers. These are names. These are families destroyed for American security. Sergeant Arkadiusz Jozwik died in a roadside bomb attack in Ghazni province in 2007. Captain Piotr Gzela was killed by an improvised explosive device in 2010. Corporal Krzysztof Jakubowski died in a Taliban ambush in 2012. Each one of them believed they were defending freedom. Each one of them believed America would remember their sacrifice. Here is what Trump called staying off the front lines. 3,185 coalition troops died during NATO combat operations between 2001 and 2014. 2,461 were Americans. 1,000 Zone 25 came from partner nations. Britain lost 457. These allies bled and died in America's war, for America's security, for America's revenge against those who attacked us. Now let me read you exactly what Trump said in that Fox News interview. Quote, "The United States had never needed NATO and claimed Allied troops had stayed a little off the front lines during the war in Afghanistan. I am not sure the military alliance would be there for the United States if we ever needed them." End quote. Let me translate what Trump just said. He told every NATO family who lost a son or daughter in Afghanistan that their child's death was meaningless. He told every veteran who served alongside American forces that their service was a lie. He told every ally who answered our call after 9/11 that America does not need them and would not be there for them. Subscribe right now because what I'm about to show you is how every major NATO leader is responding to this betrayal, and it is getting worse by the hour. The Polish response is just the beginning. Roman Polko is not some politician seeking headlines. Former GROM Special Forces commander. GROM is Poland's most elite military unit. Think Navy SEALs, but harder to get into. Only 300 soldiers have ever qualified for GROM in its entire history. Polko led operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. He has killed for America. He has bled for America. And Trump just told him his sacrifice was meaningless. Polko served 3 tours in Afghanistan. He was there when the Taliban controlled 70% of the country. He was there when roadside bombs killed his men. He was there when Polish soldiers came home in coffins draped with both Polish and American flags. This man does not speak lightly. This man does not break protocol without cause. Here is exactly what General Poco said in his interview with Reuters yesterday. Quote, Trump has crossed a red line. We paid with blood for this alliance. We truly sacrificed our own lives. We expect an apology for this statement, end quote. A Polish general just demanded an American president apologize. In 75 years of NATO history, this has never happened. Never. A senior military officer from a NATO ally has never publicly demanded an apology from an American commander-in-chief. The protocol has been shattered. Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz did not stay quiet. He released an official statement within 6 hours of Trump's comments. Quote, the Polish army, shoulder to shoulder with its allies, participated in missions in Afghanistan and Iraq. Polish soldiers had paid the ultimate price for international security. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten and cannot be diminished. End quote. Cannot be diminished. The Polish government just accused Trump of diminishing their war dead. This is a NATO ally publicly rebuking the American president for dishonoring their fallen soldiers. Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski went nuclear. His statement was even more direct. Quote, no one has the right to mock the service of our soldiers, end quote. Mock the service. This is a NATO ally publicly accusing the American president of mocking their war dead. Let that sink in. The Polish government believes Trump mocked their soldiers who died for American security. Share this video because people need to understand what just happened. A founding principle of NATO just got destroyed. Article 5 means an attack on one is an attack on all. Trump just said he would not honor that commitment, but Poland is not standing alone. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer just called Trump's comments insulting and frankly appalling. Quote, if I had misspoken in that way, I would certainly apologize. End quote. A British prime minister just told an American president to apologize. The diplomatic language is crystal clear. Starmer is calling Trump's statement a mistake that requires an apology. Britain lost 457 soldiers in Afghanistan, second highest death toll after America. Prime Minister Starmer is not backing down. Quote, these comments are insulting and frankly appalling to the families and friends of the 457 British personnel who gave their lives in Afghanistan. If I had misspoken in that way, I would certainly apologize. End quote. A British prime minister just told an American president to apologize. This is diplomatic language for you made a catastrophic mistake and you need to fix it immediately. Starmer did not stop there. He added this devastating line, quote, our personnel served with courage and distinction, and it is completely wrong to suggest they stayed off the front lines, end quote. Completely wrong. The British government just called the American president a liar about their military sacrifice. NATO veterans across Europe are erupting. The story is breaking wider than just government officials. Combat veterans who served alongside American troops are calling Trump's comments a massive insult. One British veteran told reporters, how dare he question their sacrifice? This is about men who will never come home. A German veteran who lost his leg in Helmand province said Trump's comments were a slap in the face to every family who lost someone. A Canadian veteran posted on social media, we bled the same red blood. We carried the same flag of freedom. We deserve better than this from our ally. Here is where it gets genuinely dangerous for Trump. Military leaders across NATO are breaking protocol. They are speaking publicly against an American president. This never happens. The chain of command is sacred in military culture. You do not criticize the commander-in-chief of your most important ally. But Trump just shattered that protocol with one interview. Former NATO Supreme Allied Commander General Wesley Clark told CNN, Trump's comments undermine the very foundation of collective defense. These are not words you hear from former NATO commanders about American presidents. Current and former military officials are calling this unprecedented. Let me read you exactly what the official NATO records show. Between 2001 and 2014, coalition partners provided 130,000 troops at peak deployment. Germany sent 5,000, Britain sent 10,000, Poland sent 2,600, France sent 4,000, Canada sent 2,800. These allies spent $300 billion in Afghanistan for America. They spent their national treasure. They spent their soldiers' lives. And Trump called it staying off the front lines. I contacted 3 former NATO officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because they are not authorized to speak publicly. All three said the same thing. Trump's comments represent the most serious threat to NATO unity since the alliance was founded in 1949. One told me, Article 5 is built on trust. The trust that when one ally is attacked, all allies respond. Trump just destroyed that trust in 30 seconds. Another said, how can European leaders ask their parliaments to approve military deployments to defend America when the American president questions their soldiers' courage? The third was even more direct. This could be the beginning of the end for NATO as we know it. European Union officials are calling emergency meetings this week, not about trade, not about immigration, about whether NATO survives Trump's presidency. EU defense ministers are scheduled to meet in Brussels on Thursday specifically to discuss alliance stability. Hit that like button if you are starting to see the magnitude of this crisis. Subscribe because the next 48 hours will determine whether the most important alliance in history holds together, and the signs are not good. What I am about to show you next will explain exactly why Putin is celebrating Trump's comments and how this crisis plays directly into Russian hands. Here's what nobody is talking about. America needs NATO more than NATO needs America. When Russia invaded Ukraine, where did we stage our response? NATO bases in Poland, Romania, Germany. When China threatens Taiwan, where are our forward positions? NATO countries. Japan, South Korea, Australia. Trump just told our most important allies their sacrifice was meaningless. He handed our adversaries the greatest strategic gift in decades. Vladimir Putin is watching this crisis with genuine satisfaction. NATO unity has contained Russian expansion for 75 years. The alliance stopped Soviet tanks at the Fulda Gap. NATO expansion brought freedom to Eastern Europe. NATO Article 5 is the only thing preventing Russian tanks from rolling into Warsaw, Tallinn, Vilnius. Trump just told Putin that America might not honor Article 5. Putin knows this. He understands exactly what Trump just gave him. A fractured NATO cannot defend Eastern Europe. Putin has been waiting for this moment since he took power in 2000. Let me walk you through the three scenarios intelligence analysts are tracking right now. Scenario 1, Trump apologizes within 48 hours. Probability 15%. His entire political brand is built on never apologizing, never admitting mistakes. Trump has never apologized for a foreign policy statement in his entire political career. The chances he starts now are virtually zero. Scenario 2, NATO allies demand formal congressional reassurance about Article 5 commitment. Probability 60%. European leaders bypass Trump entirely and go directly to Congress. They demand a resolution reaffirming American commitment to mutual defense. This would be unprecedented. Congress has never been asked to override a president on NATO policy. But European leaders are already discussing this option. Scenario 3, Poland and other allies begin independent security arrangements outside NATO framework. Probability, 25%. This ends NATO as we know it. If major allies start building parallel defense structures, the alliance becomes irrelevant. Poland is already discussing enhanced cooperation with Britain, France, and the Nordic countries. This would create a European military alliance without American participation. Wall Street is already pricing in NATO instability. Defense contractors are surging on expectations of European rearmament. Lockheed Martin is up 8% since Trump's comments. Raytheon is up 12%. Currency markets are treating this as a fundamental shift in global security architecture. The euro is weakening against the dollar as investors price in European defense spending increases. The dollar's reserve status depends on alliance stability. If NATO fractures, American economic hegemony fractures with it. China wins, Russia wins, America loses. The next 72 hours will determine everything. European leaders are demanding responses before Trump's next major foreign policy statement. Polish President Andrzej Duda is scheduled to speak at the Munich Security Conference this weekend. If Trump has not apologized by then, Duda will address the crisis publicly. This crisis has a deadline. Either Trump fixes this immediately or NATO begins the process of moving beyond American leadership. Share this video right now. People need to understand that Trump just triggered the biggest crisis in NATO history. Your friends need to see this. Your family needs to see this. The mainstream media will not tell you how serious this really is. They will focus on the political horse race. They will talk about poll numbers and campaign strategy. They will not tell you that the foundation of Western security just cracked. Hit subscribe and the notification bell because this story is breaking in real time. When European leaders respond to Trump's latest statement, you will see it here first. When Poland makes their next move, you will know immediately. When Putin makes his next move in Eastern Europe, you will understand exactly why. This is not just political theater, This is the future of global security being decided right now. Leave a comment below. Do you think NATO survives this crisis? Are we watching the end of the post-World War II security order? I want to hear what you think because this affects all of us. This affects whether your children live in a world protected by alliances or a world where every country stands alone against aggression. Tomorrow, I will show you the classified documents that reveal exactly how NATO allies are planning to respond. The meetings are already happening. The decisions are already being made. European defense ministers are drafting contingency plans that assume America cannot be trusted. I have seen these documents. I have spoken to officials who are in these rooms. What they are planning will shock you. This story is just getting started, and it is coming sooner than you think. I will see you in the next one.